Hello, Dave. Today is Sunday, the 3rd of April, 2022. I am the Bro 9000, and I trust you are all functioning very well today. Hopefully, we will have some guests on today's show, which is a Musings show. No film review today, boys and girls. Apologies for postponing yesterday, but we'll catch up with it today. Hello, everybody. It's Mr. Brown. Hope you're all doing well today. As I said, no film review this week. Just a few stories. What's been going on? Rest assured, we won't be mentioning the punch up at the Oscars. All we'll say on the subject is Smith, just leave her. That's all we're saying. Let's start as we mean to go, and then shall we get the guests out? I think we should. First up, back by popular demand, one half of the poshest sounding duo on YouTube since the two Ronnies ruled the airwaves at the BBC. It's the wonderful Lost. Disney Star Wars is a masterpiece. Cord.
Hello there.
That was an introduction, wasn't it?
That was. I might have to change my display name. But it's April Fool's Day is now past, so I no longer have to pretend to like that shit. By the way, did you hear about the punch up at the Oscars?
What punch up? Please tell me more. Was punch up?
Yeah, there was just something adding to the crime statistics, but apparently it was quite dramatic. It was good fun to watch, though. It's the most entertaining fight I've seen in many months.
Yeah, we won't talk about it. But do you have a sentence of your thoughts about it?
No, I don't. I mean, everyone's made all the jokes now. I could make more, but I don't think they'd be repeatable on stream. I only really brought it up because you said that we wouldn't, and I like throwing spanners in works.
I would just say I think the only person who's shown any class in all of this is, and this is the person who you'd least expect, Chris Rock. Amazing.
He's been good, yeah. And Denzel Washington actually has been quite nice about it, although doing a lot of god bothering on the subject. But I think he's been quite sane for what I've seen.
So you're okay, yeah? Everything's good. Approaching 1K. Well done.
We are. Like not bad. Like 4 months work, 5 months work. I think it is. So we're going nicely.
Quality always surfaces to the top, my friend.
It's either quality or luck, and I haven't decided which of the two it is yet. But
that's why my channel's sinking. But there you go. Moving on. Shall we get the next guest out?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. We've got some new blood on the channel, boys and girls. He's new to the channel. His channel is called What Geek! ! Question mark. Link in the description. It is the wonderful Matt Katz 83.
Hey, you guys. How's it going?
Hey, you guys. Hello, sir.
What's up, nerds?
How are you?
I'm good. I have a little bit of a sore throat. I'm getting over something, so.
You've not been to China, have you?
No, thankfully. I have not. By the way, there was a dust up at the Oscars.
I'd heard that, yes. Do you know anything about it?
Oh, I mean, no, and everything, but is it along the same story as Corn Pop? Because I love that story.
Pass.
Gotcha.
Pass. So you well, Matt? Yes.
I'm well. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Welcome to the channel, by the way. Shall we get the next guest out?
Do it.
Good lad. You learn quickly. Set your power wands to stunning and brave, your Photoshop automations to full power, and he's recently been to China. We have the wonderful, not Brian Young.
Hey, good evening, Brune. Good evening, Ben, Matt. Evening, chat. How are we all?
All right, buddy.
Evening.
Good.
I'm not too bad. I've been slightly perturbed by I don't know if you heard, there was some event at the Oscars, a bit of a punch-up, I heard.
A punch-up?
A slap.
Joking. You're joking.
Well, obviously, where I live, we don't get to see that kind of violence, but it's apparently it was quite disturbing.
In Scotland.
Was anybody arrested?
Don't think so. I think some privilege might have been on display and people getting away with things.
White privilege or black
Celebrity privilege, possibly.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So you're good, Brian? Yes.
I'm okay. I'm terribly ill prepared for the stream.
Don't
However,
worry, same here.
I have shown up, and
Yeah, it's just a courtesy to the boys and girls after we postponed yesterday. So not going to be the long we're here all week type show.
Well, you've jinxed it now.
Yeah, I know. 8 hours later. So we'll just pile through it, yeah, and just see how we get on. So let me I'll just say hello to everybody in the chat, by the way. Not Brian's there, Wookie, Dermot's there. Hello, guys. So let me add my captions. Mr. Brown Lions, please like, share, and subscribe. My numbers are very static at the moment. YouTube is ghosting me, unlike Lost Cause channel. But there you go.
It ghosts us 99% of the time. And then we'll get about 2 hours a day when it just decides everyone watch this video, and then it jumps up, and then 2 hours later it just flatlines again, and it's incredibly frustrating not knowing exactly why that's the case. But so far, I'll take 2 hours over none, I guess. But it would be nice if YouTube were nicer to everyone.
I think part of the problem could be the despicable French pornographers who jumped on the channel a few months ago, Brian.
Yeah,
You
that
thought
might
of
be part of it. Yes.
You had French pornographers?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yes.
made the mistake of putting a open link out in the chat, and then the not good.
I'm sorry, I wasn't there for that one.
That is hilarious.
It was 2 seconds of excitement in otherwise what was a kind of a dull and boring stream. But there you go.
You'd think French pornography would boost your viewer numbers because it's porn.
It would, but it
Yeah,
hasn't.
but it's go ahead.
Okay.
I was just going to say it was French porn, so they probably gave up in the middle of it.
I think it was hardcore porn as well. Okay, so we'll just go through the slides. So Superman and Lois, season 2. Who is watching this on the panel? I know I am.
I am.
Do you like it, Matt? What do you think?
I love this show. This show is fantastic. I've loved every episode of it. Even if it's just like I'm putting up in quotations, a filler episode, I think they're fantastic. I think this show is doing everything right.
I would also agree. Very surprising considering it's CW, isn't it?
Yeah, I was afraid that season 2 would go a little bit more, political and everything, but like I said, they're doing everything right. One thing that really stands out me personally is I'm a father. I don't know how many people are fathers and everything, but I have 2 children, and I think that they're doing the father relationship really well in all the fathers in this show. I think most shows, they just go to the trope of bad dads or deadbeat dads or dads that aren't there. And to have this one have positive role models in the father figure it speaks volumes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It would be difficult to portray Superman as a bad dad, though, wouldn't it?
I mean, listen, I don't, nothing surprises me in Hollywood these days. So they could, I think they could do it, and they'd be like, no, it's great. It's great.
As we've said many times on this stream before, we were really, really surprised at Superman and Lois. And I said that when I watched the first episode, literally I was in after the first 4 minutes. I just thought, okay, this is quite good. And considering CW, I personally think this is the best thing on TV at the moment. What do you think, Matt?
I agree. I love this show. I look forward to it every week.
And I think it's still under the radar, don't you?
Absolutely. I don't know how their ratings work because I think this is on HBO Max also. So I don't know if they have to share that or whatnot. But a lot of people that I know don't watch this show, and I'm completely dumbfounded. I can't preach enough about this show.
I was going to ask actually if we knew how well it was doing. because obviously if it's doing so much better than every other equivalent show, which has taken a very different direction, then maybe it's a cause for celebration and hope that maybe a studio might learn some lessons if it is in fact a very popular show. But I mean, apart from on these streams, I'd never heard of it until I actually went on one of these streams and we talked about it. So I don't know how much sort of advertising they're doing.
The thing is, the BBC bought this, and they've just finished showing season 1.
Okay.
And normally the BBC don't really buy. And they used to back in the day, but they don't really show anything now. And this was Saturday primetime TV, so it's probably. I'd love to see what the ratings are for the BBC. I know it's all on the iPlayer, so you can binge watch it season 1. But I think if it was mega woke, even the BBC would have avoided this. So I think that's
really.
Yeah, I do. Especially tea time Saturday evening, but
that's a take. But I mean, I think I'm probably suffering from. I mean, I haven't watched anything on the BBC for. I don't even remember the last time I had the BBC on. That might be why I've missed it. But it will be interesting to see if they do ever end up releasing the ratings. If it has done so much better than everything else, then maybe some lessons over there. The only other question I had about it, because I haven't seen this at all, is this Superman the same Superman who was in the crossover thing with the Crisis on Infinite Earths with Batwoman and Supergirl and the rest of them?
He has been in the Supergirl show. I'm not overly familiar with that.
Yeah.
But the show itself, I mean, I've only seen the first season, but from what I saw, it has been a breath of fresh air. And trying to persuade people to watch it is a task and a half when you hear it's from the CW. One thing I absolutely love about it, especially, is the soundtrack. I think it's a gentleman called Dan Romer.
Yeah,
he just gives this show a heart and a soul that it needs.
Yeah, Brian, we even tweeted the guy, didn't we, last year, saying top work.
Oh, that's right.
And to his credit, he replied. So I'll just say to everybody again, this is the best program you are not watching. Please pick up on it. There's only a minor problem with this, is that they seem to be taking lots of breaks all the time because they're not churning the episodes out weekly. And I think that could be going against it. But other than that, it's just fantastic.
I agree with that. I think it is hurting it because they usually keep around in the in the US. They usually keep in around the 700,000 marker, but this was the lowest ratings in the US episode in America with only a little less than 700,000. So I think that them not telling people when it's coming back and like when they're going to go off and everything, I think it really hurts them.
I think we're going to wait another 3 weeks for the next episode.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt. The only criticism I've got is that especially in the first season, that some of the series felt somewhat elongated. The last 10, 15 minutes of some of the shows seemed a little bit rushed, which I didn't think was necessary with the amount of time they've got to do. There's enough episodes, I think, to cover it.
Right on. I agree with that.
Yeah, the 42-minute thing, sometimes they just need to do the extended. I know the Blu-ray that they released has the extended episodes, which would be pretty good to watch, actually. But as I said, everybody, you should be watching this. Best thing on TV at the moment. It's still going under the radar. We don't know if there's going to be a season 3. I would imagine there is. I think probably the producers are surprised just how popular this is. And they've probably been taken by surprise, hence the episodes not being out weekly, because they probably thought that they didn't need to do it weekly. But there you go. That's just my take. So shall we do the next slide, guys?
Just before we move on from Superman-related news, has anybody heard that rumor that they are swapping Superman for, is it Superwoman, Supergirl? Henry Cavill's Superman is out, and they're actually going to replace what film he was potentially going to be doing with a Supergirl film instead. I've heard this rumor.
I have heard
that as well. I was hoping it was just a nasty rumor, but it seems to be picking up some traction.
It wasn't one of those. It wasn't published on April 1st, was it? Because I saw the headline.
No.
I don't remember when I saw it.
That's a stream killer, isn't it? Time Prophet in the chat. Hello, Time Prophet. I won't have a TV until tomorrow. Good for you, mate.
But you're here and you're on your phone, which you can also use to watch stuff.
I can't. But so this room. So this is a rumor that's going around at the moment that the most in-demand film star that's not getting any work is out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've just googled it. It's everywhere. It's The Express
Ugh.
has it, Comicsburg has it, Screen Geek
Yeah.
has it, Screen Rant has it. It's from
Fuck me.
4 days ago, so it's not
Jesus.
April 1st. So it's a rumor. It's still just a rumor, and it's in the Express, so it could well be false. But nevertheless, that is a rumor that is out there because it's just what we all wanted, after all.
Oh, well, it looks like Tyler Oachin is the only
Eklund.
sorry, is the only one we're gonna get. So moving on. That's just poor.
I'm sure it will go really well.
Poor. Oh God. Okay, let's move on. Marvel Studios, Moon Knight. Who watched this week?
I did.
What did you think, Matt?
I'll be honest with you. I liked it, but Marvel with these shows, they have a habit of snaring me in, and then they flip a switch real quick, and I'm like, oh, I don't like it anymore. This sucks. So
The classic bait and switch tactic.
yes, they do. And so I have a feeling I will and not like this show. But for right now, the first episode, I liked it. It wasn't awe-inspiring, but I liked it. So I thought Oscar Isaac and Hawk did a really good job. Ethan Hawke.
He's the guy who Uma Thurman, wasn't he? He did the dirty on her.
Yeah, he cheated on her.
Oh, yeah. I watched this week. I totally agree. It's classic bait and switch, isn't it, Matt?
I think so. I just I always try to hold out hope, but with these Marvel shows, they always let me down. They always do. So I'm not holding out hope. So
and as an American, what did you think to Oscar Isaac's British accent?
Well, I don't know any difference. So I mean, I thought it sounded good, but he could have gone on there and been like, "Hello, Governor, how are you today?" And I would have been like, "Oh yeah, he's British." So
Dick Van Dyke classic.
yeah. So I honestly don't know the difference. It's like when British do American accent, they sound like this in our movie parts, and then you're just like, okay, I'll buy it. So.
Yeah, it's almost like the EastEnders, which is a British soap, school of British accents.
Yeah.
There's a funny thing about, just as a complete tangent on accents. I read somewhere relatively recently that the Cockney accent that is now it's evolved really very, very quickly over a short period of time, because accents tend to do that in this country. And the original Cockney accent is actually much closer to what the current Australian accent is, because the Australian main sort of Victoria region accent has barely changed since the country was founded. So once upon a time, all our Cockneys were going around sounding like Australians, and now they sound like people from EastEnders, which, if you ever go to the East End of London and try and imagine what it would be like being surrounded by Aussies, it would be quite a significant change.
Do you want to go for a drink down the Queen Vic?
I might even watch that kind of EastEnders. I like that.
Yeah, Time Prophet in the chat. Everybody in America think all the British talk Cockney.
We do. We famously all talk Cockney, as you can tell from the way I'm speaking right now.
Yes.
I wouldn't know the difference. I wouldn't know any of the differences. So
It's not like
Ben's a posh boy, trust me.
it's not like the Time Prophet to come in there with a massive xenophobic generalization, is it?
No, it's not like him at all, is it? Cruel Birab Stroof, mate. I will just put that up there. There you go, Time Prophet.
Can I ask you one more thing about Moon Knight? How did you feel about the CGI? Because some of it I thought was
the trees were shite.
Well, I thought like that end. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but that end fight, I was just like, with the bad guy in it, I was just like, well, it's in the dark and it still looks like crap. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I don't know if that's what they were going for, because I don't know. It just looked bad. I was like, this is
it
no good.
Game of Thrones season 8 level dark, where you literally can't see anything that's happening, so they could save money, or is it?
Oh, it's not that bad. It's not
Okay.
that bad. I could see what was going on. It was like Cheetah in Wonder Woman bad. Like I was like, like you had time and it just looks bad. I don't know. It was. I didn't like it.
Time Prophet in the chat. Moon Knight copied the Time Prophet. I would imagine the CGI was quite difficult because it was in a bathroom full of mirrors.
Oh, that could be it. I just, yeah.
But anyway, okay. So I think, as with most Disney Marvel, next week will be the deal breaker. Yes.
I think so. Usually by episode 2 or 3, I'm like, oh, this is crap. And then I'm just like upset the whole time.
At some point, I mean, if it does completely bomb, which it very well might, given everything else has, one day when we're slightly maybe less desensitized to all of it, we will really appreciate just how shocking it is that you can have so much money spent and so many top draw A-list actors brought in for what is essentially a TV show.
Yeah.
For the first time, we've not really had this in TV before, certainly not for a long time. And all of this resource and all of these fantastic actors that they have access to, and they are turning out things where we're looking at the first episode and saying, maybe it's all right, possibly, but it could just go downhill next time. It should be more shocking than it is, but I think as it happens all the time now, we are desensitized to it. But that's sort of the streaming service economy for you.
Z3PO, hello Rob, looked a bit rushed and PS4 cutscene.
I would agree with that.
Especially the trees coming down the.
And
Anyway.
and I think that I think they could do. I don't know, because nobody really knows anything about Moon Knight. I read comic books, and I can tell you right now, I've never read a single comic book title. I've only read comic books with him in it, like in a team or whatever, but never any singles. So I don't know. I'm just not going to hold out hope.
He's from Egypt, apparently.
He is, but the director's mad that nobody else hired anybody from Egypt.
Okay, so we'll see next week then. So Moon Knight, we think it's going to go the same way, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Okay, so right, who's been watching this?
I've actually seen this now.
I have not.
I've watched it. Hey, we have. Here we go. Hello, Z. How are you, my friend?
Call blimey, Governor, apples and pears, pearly queens, Mary's badgers. Hello, everybody. I'm Oscar Isaac.
Are you okay, my friend?
Yeah, well, yes. Been in hospital over the weekend, but recovering well. Thank you very much.
Are you being operated on by Babu Freg?
It did feel like that. I've got a massive piece of gauze at the side of my head at the moment. And I'm actually, the only way I can come on here is to have half a set of headphones on.
Would you like just to give us your can't speak comments?
Oh no, I've been listening in, and I agree with
what do you think,
what everybody said. I think it was excellent, storming first episode. It got me certainly intrigued, and I was glued throughout. But I always get the feel that this is going to suffer from Disney formula syndrome, and it's going to be the woman who ends up rescuing him.
Yeah, the signs are there already, aren't
and yeah, he's going to end up being a passenger in his own series.
Cook.
Yeah.
Even though it's Oscar Isaacs, isn't it? He's a great actor.
He's a fantastic actor. One of the most redeeming things about the sequel trilogy, I would have said, is his acting. But and he was really good in this. He really got the part from the shonky accent. What the hell was that?
Yeah.
Who taught him that? Hey, that's terrible. Fucking hell.
I just now it's official that if it does get to the end, then if all of these predictions do come true, we can now, by Mr. Brown's own statement, we can now start calling it Cuck Night instead of Moon Night, which would be funny. Title of my review coming.
Cuck. Okay, so so Rob, you're thinking it's going to be
Yeah,
the
he's going
usual
to need
bait
the
and
help of
switch shit,
somebody
isn't it?
stunning and brave who's going to lead him through and turn him into the hero he was always meant to be with her help.
Anyway, moving on. Okay, so
Yes.
good to have you on, by the way, mate.
Thank you very much.
So, Halo, who's watched it? Who's seen it?
Yes. Sadly.
Go on, Ben. What do you think?
So I do not know a huge amount, I will admit at the start, about the lore of Halo. I played the original Halo when I was about 9, and I think I've played 3 and Reach. So I came at it from not a particularly intensive lore knowledgeable position, and I thought, okay, I can watch this as a relatively divested person. Does it stand on its own just as a TV show, whether or not you like the franchise of which it's a part? And I think the answer to that is just 100% no. I preferred the original Power Rangers, and I hated that too. It's just everything about this it's either generic or it's really bad. And I can't understand who they're trying to appeal to with it, because the writers, having admitted that they did not pay any attention to the games in creating it, nevertheless keep inserting first-person shooter shots to appeal to the gamers they've already put off by saying they don't care about their lore. So they're actually, the casual viewer will watch it and say, oh, it's just another generic video game ripoff. And the gamers won't watch it anyway, because the creators have already said they don't care about them. So who do they expect to watch it?
I think up until the moment where he took his helmet off, first episode, there you go. That was the deal breaker, I think.
It wasn't great. Because, I mean, ideally, if you're going to have the main character take the helmet off, underneath that helmet you have a person who can act. That would help. But no, that's not a thing in Halo, apparently. You've just taken the helmet off and got a more generic person underneath than he was with the helmet on, which doesn't work either. The action sequences don't work. The movement for the CG is terrible. The costumes don't look like they've been particularly well done. They are very plasticky, and you can tell when they're CG moved and when they're actually wearing the costume. And there's a huge difference between those two things. It just looks bad all the way through. And I don't remember what the story is because it was boring. So it sort of ticks the holy trinity of bad show, bad acting, bad story, bad display. And I will probably carry on watching it because I'm a masochist, but that would be the only reason.
So, other than those points, you're enjoying it.
Other than that, it's the best thing on TV.
Anybody else seen it?
No, I avoided it. I did watch the bit where he took his helmet off, and it was a bit like doing a Pedro Pascal, wasn't it? Really
Yeah.
impressive, commanding voice, and then you take the helmet off, and you've got this sad act underneath.
I would say
Dear,
I
oh
wouldn't have even have a problem with him taking the helmet off as long as you didn't see his face.
That would have been fine. I played the first 2
Yeah.
Halo games on PC, so I was
Yeah, I love
interested in the
Halo.
series, but I wasn't a devotee. But as soon as the reviews came in, I thought, I'm not wasting my time with this.
I just think this could have been fantastic, and it's got the LA Valley writing. Anyway, moving on.
Well, it's broken, hasn't it, quite significantly with... I mean, well, obviously it would because they don't care about the actual lore, but as far as I'm aware, it's broken significantly in many ways with the lore as well. So isn't there a human leading the Covenant now? And that doesn't...
there's a woman as well.
There's a lot of women in this, isn't there?
Yeah, this was made about 2 years ago.
Oh, it's taken them that long to put it out.
Yeah, I think it got locked down because of COVID.
I did suspect the worst when I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't mean the personnel. The fact that it was a minute-long trailer and they showed the same scene twice, that made me think there can't be too much in here that's much good.
Yeah, it has been greenlit for season 2, so maybe season 2 will be better. But I think the damage was done when he took the helmet off.
Brown, I don't think episode 2 will be better.
No.
Yeah. I haven't seen it.
This
I'm going to stick with it. It's okay.
Why is taking helmets off become a meta? The Mandalorian season 1, which had a huge number of flaws in it, it wasn't always that well written, the series, but it worked just about, and it worked without seeing Pedro Pascal's face for the vast majority of it. Every single thing now has to have the helmet off as soon as possible. It's the Ryan Johnson approach. The first thing he did when he takes over TLJ was, we have to find some way of getting Kylo Ren's mask off of him, because that's the only way you can possibly show people as people. It's just laziness and talentless directing if you can't imagine a way to make people convey emotions by action, or even see the value in having someone whose emotions you don't necessarily know. There's no ambiguity in it then. And I don't understand why every single show that has a helmeted character spends all of their time as soon as is possible with taking that helmet off and keeping that helmet off. And then what do we actually get that's good from that payoff in, say, episode 1? Nothing. There is no dramatic purpose to it at all. It just makes it mundane.
You look at V for Vendetta.
I was just saying,
that's the 2 examples in it, Z. Yeah.
Good example.
And V, they're absolutely perfect, conveying emotion without the need of seeing a face. And it does work. It's just they're not sufficiently capable actors to do it. Or they're just so vague, like Pedro Pascal, who just wanted to see his face on the screen.
Yeah. I think they should have watched Dredd with Carl Urban before.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Dredd and the Batman have slight advantages in that because they're not complete head helmets, are they? So you can see the jaw, you can see the mouth, and it's sort of the halfway point. The alternate one is to do the Tony Stark Iron Man one, where their helmet's on, but you see sort of in helmet camera.
Yeah.
So there are other ways of doing that, but you only want to do that if the person you are depicting actually has something worth showing. And that's just not been true of Halo at all. I don't even know what the main actor's name is. I don't think I've seen him before.
John, something.
For me,
John.
For me, Hugo Weaving in V for Vendetta is still the benchmark for that kind of thing, at least on the smaller, the bigger screen.
Mephisto, Zarces, hello Mephisto. Just saying what we've just said. Dredd with Carl Urban was legend.
Yeah,
such a good film.
Yes, we've got a lot of love for that film on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
I keep having to use clips of Mega City 1 whenever I mention California in my videos as well.
We're going to recover Dredd at some point. We did it last year, but I knew nothing about streaming, so we're going to recover it and hopefully this time do it some justice. So
very briefly, Dredd is actually a really good example of how to do a video game movie, despite Dredd not being a video game. Actually,
no budget,
in terms of its structure, you're literally moving up levels, defeating bad guys, but it makes for a really compelling film. It could well have been a video game adaptation, but for some reason, video game adaptations that go into film, like Halo, can't actually do that as well as a film that wasn't even based on a video game can do. Dredd has a much more video game adaptation feel to it, and it works because you appreciate this increasing difficulty level and the increasing stakes. But I can't actually think of a single video game adaptation that's done that as well as Dredd has done. I like Dredd. I think that was a good, uncomplicated but good film.
Yes, with a strong woman who didn't know she was strong at the time, but written very, very well.
She has a character arc because she actually has things to learn. She discovers her talents and she has to work hard to attain them. What a astoundingly new idea in Hollywood.
It's a genuine shame Dredd bombed. But anyway, okay. Time Prophet in the chat. Strangely, V for Vendetta, spell it wrong, mate, sounded like the guy out of the Matrix for some unknown reason.
I wonder why that would be.
Keanu Reeves.
Once Fishburne. Okay, so I'm going to continue watching it, but I'm a sucker for punishment. So okay, so.
Well, you don't know punishment, mate. I watched all 10 seasons of Smallville.
Oh.
Well, I like Smallville.
So do I.
Oh.
So speaking of punishment,
I was about to say, speaking of punishment, you stole my line.
Yep. Who's up to speed with this?
I am.
Yes.
Who would like to go first?
This show is. You go.
Just finished.
Decide. Brian?
Everyone's going to see all the stuff that I've said, but if I say it first, I make it sound as if I'm more up to speed than I actually am, to be quite honest. I would say off the bat, significantly better than season 1, although that really wouldn't be very hard at all. Plenty of agendas on display that just scream out at you. I'm not particularly enjoying it, surprisingly enough, but I do find it's better than season 1, obviously. I think the character of Agnes Jurati is just off the scale annoying in that the writing you were talking about, Brown.
Drummer from Scott Pilgrim, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Yeah.
Not Scott Pilgrim, isn't it? I'm not a fan of that film, to be honest. Picard again is just disrespected left, right, and centre. He's just marked as an old pest in this, and some of the. I believe he was called an old prick at some point in the previous episode, and he's between that and his doting about. He's just completely neutered, and he's been further neutered again this week by his ancestor being a genius. So that's all attributed to her.
It's a woman, isn't it?
Rather than him. I think the plot is pretty farcical. Because even if Picard sorts out the timeline, Q's omnipotent. He'd be able to just put it back in his head straight away. I'm struggling to find the positives. I will say that I would say that Brent Spiner is good. I think that John Delancey is excellent for what we've seen, despite his character being
just great.
A bit neutered.
So, other than that, again, you're loving it.
Yeah, other than that, it's marvelous.
I've got to get you home.
Matt,
do you like it, Matt?
Like Brian said, it's better than the first season, which isn't hard. I think the writing is horribly contrived. I think the dialogue is pretty horrible. I'm not a huge fan of the dark aesthetic. I think the edit still feels Kirksman Trek. Now, I do like that they're trying to make some improvements. I just don't think that they're capable of following through till the end.
Yeah, they haven't got the writing chops, have they?
Yeah. Plus, I don't like how they are like repurposing First Contact and Voyage Home and even some of the Mirror Universe episodes. I know Star Trek has done that before, but I just I'm like, you guys have got like, a blank canvas here. Why don't you guys try to, create something that's not
they can't.
Yeah, they just keep throwing member berries in there every episode, and I'm like, listen, I don't need this to like Star Trek. You guys don't need to keep doing this. So they just can't come out with an episode that's slightly less shit and expect me to go, oh, that was good, that was so good. That's how I feel about it. And plus it's a little boring. Like the last episode, I was like, okay, well, this was, not that great. I don't know. I think it's just going to end up being bad at the end. So,
Mephisto in the chat, I can still watch TNG, and as far as I am concerned, this travesty, which is bear with me, this travesty does not exist. Well, all I can say is you're lucky I can't watch TNG now. Can any of the panel watch TNG? Or has that been soiled?
I think so. I can watch it because it just feels like a completely different character.
I agree.
Having said that, I can't really watch Star Wars anymore, but that's another story.
Rob, have you been watching this?
I watched season 1, but that was so appallingly bad, I couldn't be bothered with season 2. So,
good for you.
Is this Kurtzman Picard? Is that completely different from the main timeline Picard?
No. I think it is, yes.
Please say it is.
I don't think it is it?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So the premise of going back to 2024 is that they have to go back to fix the timeline so that the main timeline can take place because it's been broken. So I assumed that it actually was, and what this is actually trying to do is to insert itself before the next generation to explain how the universe of the next generation came to be, because they managed to fix the past, which was set up so that instead of becoming this techno-utopia, Earth became an evil fascist dictatorship in the year 2024. I wonder what could possibly have augured that change. So I'm pretty sure it's part of the main timeline, and it's just trying to take credit for it. But I've actually, because I've been doing a really long review of Discovery, and I'll be doing a review of this when this is finished. And I've been going back to the Next Generation to watch some of the episodes to draw points of comparison between them. And actually, I find that in a way, my enjoyment of the Next Generation, lots of which I hadn't seen anyway, but the bits that I had seen and have rewatched, I've enjoyed them a lot more because actually their genius is now on stark display. by comparison with what's come after that. If you compare, there's a scene in the most recent series of Discovery where they're talking about, well, they decide that the computer is not a sentient AI, it's a new life form because it has feelings. But there is actually an episode of The Next Generation where they debate Data's sentience. And I've just played these two things one after the other side by side. Say, look, this is how proper Star Trek can do a really complicated moral, ethical question with actual information in it. They debate the question of sentience compared to how Discovery Kurtzman Trek does it, which is just, it has feelings, therefore it's alive. And it, oh God. But no, to answer that question at the top, I think it's trying to take credit for it. But I've just caught up on, I think I've just finished episode 4. So that's when they do it. That's when they end up back in 2024. I think the first shot is you've got slums everywhere, and the first action takes place when Raffi is held up by a mugger. And I thought it's 2024, so we know that the Democrats have just won the next election because you've got slums and muggers in the middle of LA. So that's something.
That's why he's on this channel, boys and girls, with knowledge like that.
If
So
anything,
you're
it just
saying
makes
that
you realise that. Sorry, we've got hellish delay.
They're predicting
Delay.
then the second term for Biden, are they?
No, please don't.
Stream killer.
If anything, this show just makes you realise how good TNG is.
Yeah.
I was watching even just the first couple of episodes the other day, and especially character introduction. They're compelling from the start, and this show does not have that.
Absolutely.
And it's going one further. So season 1 destroys the moral foundations of the Federation by showing that it's either undesirable or it's unsustainable, or perhaps both. But that's quite a meta point. It undermines the entire philosophical foundations of old Star Trek, and it destroys the sort of the sense of optimism that you're supposed to have about the world. But from what I've seen so far of season 2, it's doing the same thing but very differently. It's done with the meta philosophical point now. It's already destroyed that moral foundation. Now, because it's given itself license to come back to the modern day, it's being incredibly specific, policy specific even, about what the problems with the world are. Budget reasons, yeah, undoubtedly, for going back. But whereas in season 1 we had, the Federation is now full of xenophobic, somehow isolationist people, despite it being a galactic federation of planets, they are still isolationist. Still a meta point. Already in season 2, we've had ICE is detaining people and disappearing them, i.e. killing them. We've had lectures about how a stupid species can allow such rabid inequality to exist in the heart of one of their major cities. We've got lessons on we are destroying the planet again because of the ozone layer and climate change and all the rest of it. So they've done the meta, now they're being policy specific. So in a way, it's as bad as season 1, but it's just bad in a different way because it's even more myopic now in its badness.
That's an excellent point.
Have we got any lesbian lovers?
Well, that's a thing. That was the one nice thing. The security guard was not portrayed as a
7 of 9.
bigot when they go up and they try and get to the top of the tower, and the security guard catches them and they say they're trying to recreate their picture because they're getting married, and he didn't turn them away as an evil straight white male bigot. So that was a sign of encouragement. Not every man in the
Small
show
victory,
is
then.
a dick, but yeah.
Yeah, and can I say something?
In post.
Can I say something about that relationship between Raffi and Seven? I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Every time they're on screen together, I was like, they were never in a relationship. And if they are, they're just trying to force me to believe that they were in a relationship. Because I don't get that they like even liked each other at one point in time. So I'm like, if these two are just, tribbing, that's fine. But I'm not getting the love relationship between them. So yeah, I don't buy it.
One of them is a robot, and the other one is 7 of 9. So they're not really active.
0 week, by the way.
Yeah, and Rocky's all like, I keep losing my son. I lost my son in season 1, and now I lost Eleanor. And I'm all like, good. I didn't like your son from season 1, and Eleanor, I'm glad he's dead. So I don't feel bad for you at all. Trauma.
Did you notice the throwaway line about the time travel? Which was essentially just, don't think about it too hard.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, they've tried to excuse that, haven't they? Because they said that, Kirk's Enterprise did that a few times. Therefore, it's fine. No matter how we use it or how it's done, it must work because we can claim that it happened before. We've cited the law, therefore, anything we do is excused.
I think it's just written by knobheads.
Yes.
Who haven't a fucking clue about Star Trek. They think they have, but they're just missing the point completely. But the Valley boys and girls will lap it up.
Well, they probably will. Someone, I think, was it Time Prophet in chat said like about the environmentalist one that the Next Generation did do something like that with warp drive, destroying the universe.
Yes.
Actually, I've made this point. Actually, it's in my Discovery review because it does do that, and it strays very close to punching you on the nose. There are episodes of Old Trek which do a little bit too much by way of contemporary politicking. You can tell their time and their place from that. But even in that episode of The Next Generation, what it doesn't do is go on to give you policy prescriptions, and it doesn't blame anyone in particular for this particular problem. So the actual closing line of that debate that they have is, I didn't realize that this is what's happening. We're going to have to change, and it might be difficult, but we will need to change. And that's all that they say, which is, it's vague and it's still kind of aspirational. Whereas Picard does not allow you to make those conclusions for yourself. It doesn't simply say, well, this is a problem and we're going to have to think really hard about what to fix. What it does is it says, this is a problem. This is how to interpret the problem. This is who's responsible for the problem. And this is what specifically you have to do and who specifically you have to vote for to solve that problem. And that's an incredibly different approach. And it's why this is not you cannot any longer say that Star Trek unites people as in the way it once did, because it doesn't try to. Its whole mission is now, if it doesn't finish an episode, having alienated at least half of the country it's based in, it thinks it's done a bad job.
I think you like Star Trek, everybody.
Could you tell?
Yeah, the love is pouring out. I watched I gave up with the season 1. I think I got about 20 minutes into the second episode, season 1, and I just thought, this is garbage. So I've not seen any of that. I'm aware of what went on. I started watching this season. You could tell they were trying. Very, very high body count. Episode 1. 2 ships destroyed. People just going down like flies. I just thought, And then I started watching episode 2. I had to do something. I got about 10 minutes into it, and I just can't be arsed with it, which is a shame. But
it does look pretty. That's something to be said in its favor. Sometimes it looks
John Delancey's fantastic. Yeah. I love John Delancey.
He's very good.
And I don't even think Q's going to save it, is he?
Well, I mean, again, you could do so much interesting with that, because you have this potentially, or it can't be semi-omnipotent by definition, but you've got an almost omnipotent being who is potentially suffering from very severe mental issues. The consequences of that could be really, really interesting to explore, but I'm not really sure this series is very interested in exploring them.
Yeah, they're not.
It may take an element of creativity, which is significantly further down the pecking order than the agenda that they're spewing out every episode.
Absolutely.
And yes, John Delancey did star in The $6 Million Man. I remember him. So, again, it's not good, is it? Okay,
it's not good.
Let's move on. More Star Trek, boys and girls.
Yay.
Yay. I was very, very hopeful for this.
Until you watch this trailer.
What's up with his hair? It's very big.
I don't know what Spock's hair. It looks like somebody marketed it on his head.
Yeah, there's a lot of hairstyles going on.
Yeah, it's very weird. I'm all like, but it's pretty though. Like Platoon said, it's pretty. It's pretty. But so what?
Anson Mount is a great actor. He was the only one who knew what Star Trek was. Season 2 Discovery, a pure highlight of that show. And the trailers and stuff that I've seen this week, it's the Valley script writing, isn't it? It's just starting to come through again, and it's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody seen the trailers?
I've seen a couple of the character reveals.
I just watched the new one today.
And what did you think?
Like I said, it looks pretty, but you just have it it just looks like a lot of LGBT members on the
just those hairstyles, isn't it?
It's so it's crazy. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, Christopher Pike has the biggest hair I've seen.
It's coiffed, isn't it? Big coif.
And then
15
you've
minutes.
got the one girl that looks like she's from that Grey's Anatomy character. I don't know what's going on here. I'm so confused. And why are they going back to this this pilot episode that didn't even make it? Like, I don't understand why they keep they did that in the first Star Trek movie with Pike.
Yeah, it's that is deep lore in Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep going back to it. It didn't work the first time, and I don't think it worked the second time. So maybe we should just skip it. You know.
Yeah,
That's a shame because I've uploaded the trailer. Shall we watch it?
Oh, go
Can I
on.
just say that every time they set Star Trek in the past in Kurtzman Trek, they always, and I mean always, fuck up what's happened before. So I'm holding no stock in this. So you run the trailer.
He said, didn't he, in an interview, that there's so much lore that you can't possibly keep track of all of it, which he apparently took as license to keep track of none of it and not even try. Mistakes are always made in any sufficiently deep universe, which is sufficiently large. I mean, the Star Wars expanded universe did this from time to time as well. You would find things in there which didn't quite add up with other things that had gone on before. But people tried to keep it of a piece as much as is possible.
Yeah.
They didn't simply say, "Well, it's too big, we can't, so therefore we won't." But Kurtzman doesn't seem to take this approach at all.
But they used to actually have that. They actually used to have that. I used to be friends with the late Richard Arnold, who was employed by Paramount on Gene Roddenberry's request to keep track of everything so they didn't contradict anything.
Oh, wow.
And he was with them for the first 5 seasons, but after Gene Roddenberry died, they fired him.
Yeah, and I don't even think these people Google anything. I think they're just like, hey, I think this sounds like it was in a Star Trek episode, and they're like, all right, throw it in, and I'm like, okay, good for you.
Kurtzman apparently has got nothing to do with this one. It's Akiva Goldsman, isn't it?
That's the only reason to be semi-positive about it, because Akiva Goldsman, when this was announced, said, what we want to do with Strange New Worlds is we want a more optimistic traditional show, and it will be more episodic in the form of the older series, so it won't be purely serialized. And he did take pains to say more optimistic. And Anson Mount's Captain Pike was the best thing in Discovery, as has been said.
Amazing.
And if you take those 3 ingredients together, there is at least some promise for Strange New Worlds. The problem is that every other time they've promised us anything, they've then just fucked us in the arse. So why we should
I just think it's the way the crew interact with each other. The lesser crew are back chatting the captain, and I'm sorry, that should never happen.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of quippy, chatty, LA kind of
shite.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, it would never happen. And it's all over the trailers, and the warning bells are just ringing for me, and it's a shame because they have an audience that are ready to lap this up, and we're just going to get a bowl of warm tapioca or something. It's just not going to be. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but I truly hope I'm wrong. Just the back chatting crew gets on my tits. If they just got rid of that, it could be better. But anyway, should we play the trailer, which dropped literally 2 hours ago? Here we go. Hopefully I'll press the right.
Oh dear.
I will just say, when she said, I think that went well, for me it's like, shut the fuck up. That is the biggest indication of where it's going.
Yeah. It was pretty with the dark aesthetic and everything, but
Looks great.
Yeah, it's like throwing glitter on a turd. It's
yeah,
it's pretty, but
why this? Sorry, Matt, on you go.
No, you go ahead.
I was just wondering why Spock looks like a young Dougray Scott after an accident with the Sharpie marker pen.
Yeah,
they got rid of the beard. Weird. Finally, the beard is gone, so that's an improvement.
Did they get rid of his autism?
To be honest, I didn't have a problem with any of that. It was just the kind of Michael Burnham helped him. I just thought, what a load of bollocks.
Oh yeah,
It's the retcon.
Yeah.
very
character.
quippy as well, lightweight.
I can't stand the quippy shit.
Humor. No,
Yeah.
it's irritating. I
Yeah.
suspect he's going to be doing his best impression of Kirk in this series. I don't remember him being that quaffed in Discovery either. That is
Yeah,
an
lots
impressive,
of quaffing
impressive
going
hairdo.
on in this, isn't
Much quaffing.
there? Yeah,
There was I almost
Mephisto,
think it's the same
whatever.
kind of some kind of the same writers as the Lower Decks. That same kind of stupid aesthetic when they talk together.
They should have got Ben to go through the script and remove all the shit, and I think we'd probably have a decent Star Trek.
Would have been much drier. Like much drier. But
It's just quippy shit. I don't need quippy shit in Star Trek.
Marvel again.
They are aware that Starfleet is a navy, and the navy doesn't behave that way.
They don't. Not even the village people, when they were in the Navy, did that.
Oh God.
I had someone under one of the Star Trek
At
videos
least
we
they
did.
sell the 70s.
We had someone say under one of our videos, I think it was under the Stacey Abrams one. It's like, well, why is there even a president in that future? Why is there any hierarchy at all? Surely the ideals of the Federation mean that there is no hierarchy at all. Which is a dumb comment, and it doesn't understand the premise of Starfleet or the Federation itself. But it does seem to be the approach the writers to these shows actually take, which is that they do actually want to do away with all hierarchies as much as is possible. So captains are nominally captains; they have the title, but they don't actually have the superiority or the command or the authority over their subordinates, because there's no such thing as subordinates in these shows. Everyone must be equal.
That's a very modern day lefty trope.
It's not Star Trek, is it?
No.
Time Prophet in the chat. Look at the bright side. Captain Pike ends up a cripple and gets sent to the planet of bumheads. Not even Anson Mount can save this, which is a shame because he's fantastic. But
Didn't
we shall
mind
see.
the soundtrack. The soundtrack was all right. Anything that sounds like it could have been done by Muse, I quite like, but I'm not sure that that's going to be consistent either.
It's again, it's all there on the screen, but it's let down by the writing. But anyway, okay. So, shall we move on?
Why not? Do it.
Oh,
Shall we move on again?
lots of trailers. I'll just say Edge of Time, who removed the umlaut from the name because it's easier to type. Needs more quaffing. Yeah, a lot of quaffing. Yeah. Lots of trailers dropping this weekend. I think, anybody see the Miss Marvel trailer drop today?
There's another one?
Yeah, that dropped again. Another one.
Oh no.
Dog shite.
Well, now I'll have to check it out after this.
I'm sure it will be fantastic for 14-year-olds, but it's just
Yeah, it's not going to be good. It's.
No.
I read those comic books. It's awful.
Did anybody? This dropped yesterday as well. Did anybody see this? The trailer.
I did.
No.
Yes.
What did you think, Rob?
I hate
Not a
Jodie
lot.
Whittaker, but I will say the trailer looked very cinematic, and it did look
Do you wanna
very in keeping with Doctor Who's themes.
Do you want to see it?
However, it's written. No, I'm not going to watch it. It's written by Chris Bloody Chibnall.
You don't want to watch it because I uploaded it.
What, the trailer? You can watch the
Yeah.
trailer, yes, but I'm not watching a bloody episode. The next
Shall
time I'll
we,
watch Doctor Who is after she's gone.
Yeah, no, same here, mate. But we'll watch the trailer.
Sea Devil.
Yes.
Coming straight for us.
That's impossible. Madam Sheen! Pirate Queen!
Where's the crew? That'll be us. We don't stand a chance.
Yes! Did you just stand up like this? You're like a kid sometimes. Thanks! Say hello to my crew. The world has been disrupted.
Because of you. Because of what you unleashed.
You want to create chaos.
It is our time.
Man the cannons. The ship is going down. Down!
The ship has sunk, I think. Don't you think so, Rob?
I won't be watching it, and I don't think it's going to do particularly well in the ratings. I think she's going to go out with just a fat and a sizzle rather than a big bang, look at me, fantastic explosion. And to be quite honest, I'll be glad to see the back of her. No, it's a special TV special.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not just a special. It is an epic special, as the trailer said.
I don't watch Doctor Who, so I don't know. I've only seen a handful of episodes. So
Look at you, Mephisto. They all look like they've just come from Pirates Panto. What the?
Oh no, they don't.
Yeah. Oh yes, they do.
Swashbuckle.
I think Pirates of the Caribbean
I
really
wonder if
went
anybody's
downhill when they
gonna
got
bring
rid of
up,
Johnny Depp.
for sure.
Sorry, Rob.
I wonder if anyone's going to pick up on the cultural appropriation on Jodie's costume.
I didn't.
Probably
Explain.
get a free pass on that one.
Oh, okay. So I think we're all looking forward to this, aren't we?
You know,
John
I
Bishop.
suddenly discovered I
Proper
have
stream
something else
killer.
to do.
It's a proper stream killer.
I think I'm combing my hair. Yeah, doing my hair. But it
Cannot
doesn't
take
mean
John
we're
Bishop
only
seriously as an actor, either. Oops.
After this is gone, we're only one episode left before she's gone for good.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Is this not the last one?
No, we've got
there's
the
one more
regeneration.
after this.
Yeah.
So she's not going to drown. Will give us that satisfaction.
Apparently, the new Doctor's been cast, but they're keeping it tight-lipped.
Because there were rumours it was Hugh Grant, weren't there? But I think he's quashed those.
Yeah, he said it's just a rumor.
Would we
Don't
have
even
liked
think
it
he
if
could
it was
save it.
Hugh Grant?
I can see.
Yeah, it could work.
Mm. Yeah,
I
Could
don't
work.
Hugh Grant with Russell T Davies at the helm would certainly invigorate the series somewhat.
What about Hugh Grant? What's the name of his ex-missus?
Don't you should know. Of all people, Brown, you should know.
I forgot her name. I'm old.
Well, see your surname.
Oh yeah, that's right. Perhaps he could explore the galaxy with Divine Brown. Moving on. Okay.
1995 joke there. If anyone didn't get it.
Yeah, much like okay. So
It just
I don't
looks
even.
dumb. I cannot. I can't remember the last time I watched the trailer and was left afterwards with such an overwhelming sense of. Meh.
I just think the only way this can be saved is when we see the regeneration. It's Peter Capaldi waking up.
I'm sorry, I just got the Divine Brown joke.
I'm here all week. Okay, so right. So we're all agreed. Dog shit. If you're stunning and brave, you'll lap it up. But shit, isn't it? Okay, so
I'm not sure even they're watching it, are they? Because as far as I'm aware, the
don't
ratings are so low that not even its target audience is watching.
Yeah, it's about 3 to 4 million watching it, isn't it? From
maybe it
about
is.
7.
I think they're only interested in ticking the box. Once they know the box has been ticked, the franchise has been, well, at least partially destroyed, they're happy.
Oh, well, at least somebody is. Right, okay. So moving on from that. On Friday, this dropped, and this is courtesy of Rob Ritchie at Rob Ritchie 409. So from the ridiculous to the sublime. Here we go, boys and girls.
the dock. Fucking hell! It's called a TARDIS, which stands for Time and You know what? I ain't got time for this jive. It's massive in here, just take my word.
Doctor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Davros.
You will pay for the mental agony I suffered.
Shut up, you malnourished ballsack.
Well, well, well. Look who it is.
Faster! Daleks, Sontarans, and Cybermen. You can fuck that sky high! If I don't like what you're doing here, shit's gonna hit the wind! Unhand me, you metal pricks!
This time I will kill you, I shit thee nay!
Yeah? Well, good luck with that, Master.
Sorry, I'll do that again.
No, that's fine.
What?
That's fine, Stephen, you got it in one.
I coughed halfway through it.
Didn't notice anything. That's perfect, Stephen. We've got all the voiceovers, now you're free to go.
What, so that's it? I broke into a romantic date for this. I could be in the cinema laughing my ass off!
Well, you're free now, Stephen. That's all we need.
Yeah? Well, fuck...
Again, I will just thank video courtesy of the guy who created that, Rob Ritchie. His Twitter handle is at RobRitchie409. I'll put that in the video description. Not Brian. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Brian, can you hear me?
Yes. Can hear you, Club Fandango.
What did you think to that?
Oh, it's just gold. As someone who is a massive fan of Toast of London and Toast of Tinseltown, God, and I'm not a fan of Doctor Who, incidentally, I would watch the shit out of that, as the young'uns say. Unhand me, you metal pricks. Gold. Absolute gold.
Oh, it's sad, isn't it, when the April Fool is more exciting than the genuine article.
That unironically, that would be that would break records.
Awesome.
That would be incredible. He's perfect for that role, and I don't really see why they couldn't even keep the swearing. It's in a sufficiently late time slot. Most of the people who watch it are adult enough. Why not just do that? That would be that I would watch the shit out of that. As Brian said, that's amazing, and Matt Berry's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Rob?
I would watch this in a heartbeat. Brilliant. Loved it.
Looks good, doesn't it?
I wonder if they might do a little comic relief version of this if that takes off.
Why
that
spoil
would be
it?
brilliant.
But then, of course, they'd have to make it unfunny, wouldn't they? To fit in with the rest of the comic relief schedule.
Yeah, what's the name of his nemesis?
Ray Bloody Purchase.
As the Master. How fucking good would that be?
Master!
It's just all there. Matt, do you know who Stephen Toast is?
I do not, but I have to say that I laughed very much during that little, what was that, like a minute? That little whatever that was. It was very funny. It was very funny.
He played the voice of the robot in the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, okay.
It's once the torture droid in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, right on.
It's in loads of very, very sort of, well, probably for an American it would be very obscure, but British sort of comedies. The IT Crowd he's in, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. What else has he been in?
House of Fools was in that.
Yeah. There's lots of
Time
voiceover
probably
work.
says IT Crowd.
IT Crowd, yeah.
Oh God, I other than Capaldi, I think when I saw that, I just thought, is this for real? And then obviously you kind of be like, right, okay, that would be a winner, wouldn't it, boys? That would bring the audience back in, wouldn't it?
What a coincidence that would be if he turns out to actually be the Doctor when it's released in a couple of weeks.
I wonder who it's going to be. And I know the Mega Geek, he's got a good idea who it could be, but yeah.
He's not telling though, is he?
Yeah. I wonder what it's going to be. I don't think they can save it, but anyway, okay. I think that is it. We'll try and get out at 1:15. So I'll just say to everybody in the chat, you've been wonderful. Again, apologies for yesterday. For postponing yesterday. So it was like trying to herd cats getting guests. So I'll just say to everybody in the chat, especially the Time Prophet, wonderful boys and girls. Speak of the devil, here we go. Time Prophet in the chat. Whomever the new Doctor is, it will be crap.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I'm putting my prediction.
Oh, Christ almighty.
Oh, I just did a little sicky burp in my mouth. I will just thank the guests. Z, thanks for turning up, mate. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. No worries. Good to be
Hope
with you.
the wounds get better.
Oh, yes. I've got a big, massive thing. I'm having it looked at on Wednesday, taken off on Friday. See how it goes.
We're taking off your big, massive thing. But
no, well, the big, massive gauze I've got on the back of my head.
Oh, that thing.
Edge of Time in the chats. This is Clem. Sorry, I'll start again. This is Flem Candangle. Are you hearing me properly? We are, mates. Ben, thank you, my friend.
Thank you as always.
Good to have you on, mate. Matt, really, really great to have you on. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was super fun.
And last but by no means least, not Brian Young.
Thanks again, Brune. It's been a pleasure. Thanks to Z, Ben, the chat, and Matt. First time streaming with you. It's been an absolute pleasure, right? Thank you.
Shall we play the introducing the new Doctor once more, and then we'll take our leave, because I think it's worthy of a second play. So I'll just say to everybody, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. The YouTube is ghosting the channel at the moment. Any comments in the chat is good, on the description, anything like that. Thumbs up, blah, blah, blah. So thanks, everybody. I'll play the video, and then we'll take our leave.
I'm the Doc. Fucking hell! It's called a TARDIS, which stands for time and you know what? I ain't got time for this jive. It's massive in here, just take my word.
Doctor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Davros.
You will pay for the mental agony I suffered.
Shut up, you malnourished ballsack.
Well, well, well. Look who it is.
Faster! Daleks, Centaurans, and Cybermen. You can fuck that sky high! If I don't like what you're doing here, shit's gonna hit the wind! Unhand me, you metal pricks!
This time I will kill you, I shit thee nay!
Yeah? Well, good luck with that, Master. Sorry, I'll do that again.
No, that's fine.
What?
That's fine, Stephen. You got it in one.
I coughed halfway through it.
Didn't notice anything. That's perfect, Stephen. We've got all the voiceovers. Now you're free to go.
What, so that's it? I broke into a romantic date for this. I could be in the cinema laughing my ass off.
Well, you're free now, Stephen. That's all we need.
Yeah? Well, fuck...